Welcome you to our 57th session of the Show Conference 2019. This morning I'm going to invite Mr. Fungai Mpunga. Mr. Fungai Mpunga is a chemical engineer by profession. He also did applied finance, and he's got vast experience in mining, minerals processing, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and at the end, he said, don't mention quite a lot what I've done, but just tell them that I'm just another guy. So let's invite just another guy as he comes to the podium.
So good morning. As mentioned, my name is Fungai Mpunga. So this morning I'm presenting on drone technology for occupational and health safety applications. We've got a short video that will be played for you, and then we can catch up afterwards. Thank you. Now, we'll do a recap. Most of those videos shortly, the construction, the roof inspections, those were actually filmed here in Zimbabwe, and the mining. So, a bit of history about drones. Drones have actually been in existence since World War II, 1939, and they've been used for military applications for surveillance. In 2000, that's when the USA Air Force got approval to actually arm a drone called the Predator. And in 2001, 9/11, Al-Qaeda attacked, and ever since then, the US launched a search and destroy for Al-Qaeda leadership and masterminds. Exact numbers of drone attacks are known, to be honest, but their use has been very prevalent. Just 2 weeks ago, I think we saw the Saudi Arabia attack that was done by a drone. But in 2015, 2018, Amazon proposed the use of drones for package delivery. And ever since then, we've seen the commercial emergence of uses of drones. They've become tools for overseas. I think you've seen movies, you've seen them out in the park and in the fields. They are becoming very prevalent. Our statistics, I think we've heard about them many times. We are not in a good state in terms of performance as a country and in the world. So certainly technology applications will be beneficial. So just go back to construction. So construction is a tough working environment. There's numerous hazards that take place. There's inspections in economically awkward positions. There's working at heights. There's inspections for surveys that are required. Traffic management of heavy equipment and light vehicles is also a major issue. And drones can actually undertake some of these tasks. Drones can be utilized to undertake pre, during, and post-construction progress. They can be used for safety supervision from above, looking at compliance of PPE usage, inspections of working at heights, and again the economics we did mention. In the background you'll see pictures of working at heights. That's actually local here in Zimbabwe. So for agriculture, again 60,000 fatalities that happen every year. Now agriculture is a tough working environment. Workers are exposed to dangerous animals and plants. They spend long hours in the sun. They suffer from heat stress. There's poor chemical handling. All those tasks are now tasks that can be done for drones. There are drones that do infrared imaging and identify the health of the crops. There are drones, as we saw in the video, that are used for spraying chemicals, your pesticides and herbicides, including your solid particles. On the farm, we also have equipment, again, working at heights. There's confined spaces, environments that are oxygen deficient. Those are all environments that drones can enter. People get tired working on the farms. Drones do not get tired. With the drone, you take out the battery, put in another one, send the other one to recharge, and the work continues. So in the background, that picture, that's infrared imaging. The red is crops that are not so healthy. The green is crops that are healthy. So drones will be used for equipment inspections, spraying of chemicals, inspecting the crops themselves, for harvest planning, and they're safer and more efficient than what human beings can actually do. So when we go to mining, there's numerous hazards that occur in mining. There's rock falls, there's tasks such as surveys that need to be done. There's explosive and flammable environments, particularly in coal sector. There's confined space, working at heights. There's misfired explosives. So instead of sending someone in first, we send in a drone to have a look. There's tailings dam collapses that happen fairly regular now across the world. So you see in the picture there, that's a vehicle accident being hit by a heavy vehicle and a light vehicle interacting. This happens very regularly. On the left there, you've got a picture, that's a survey to look at the volumes in the tailings dam. So drones can actually provide monitoring service from above, looking at compliance to PPE usage. How far are the heavy vehicles from the light vehicles? Where are pedestrians walking? And from a monitoring perspective, once a hazard is identified, it can be communicated to the supervisor for mitigation to take place. In the background is a picture inside the SAG mill. If anyone has been inside the SAG mill, it's not a nice environment, it's very hot. You also get a lot of rock overhang. There's a good chance that you will get hit. But now before you go in to inspect the mill, you send in a drone, have a quick inspection, are there any hazards from above? But some of the tasks that can be done is inspections. We mentioned working at heights and confined spaces. There's conveyor belts, there's tailings dumps, surveys for stock reconciliation, traffic management, you've got pre and post blast inspections, mine closure and subsequent rehabilitation tasks. As time evolves, they become difficult environments to actually work in, and you can send in drones to look at that. Transport, we've heard that's one of the largest killing industries where people get killed and injured. And part of it is distracted driving. Guys are adjusting the radio, answering the phone, driving under the influence, speeding, other unsafe vehicles. All these are hazards that drones would not necessarily experience. And on that, I'll touch on Zipline. Zipline is a US company that's actually doing drug deliveries in Rwanda and Ghana. They've actually built the largest autonomous logistics network in the world and the fastest drones that travel over 100 kilometers per hour. And all that is required is a health practitioner orders via an app or by text message. And within 30 minutes from distribution centers, a drone is launched and it drops a parachute that's got blood or medicines that are required for the task. And then someone is treated. So with these guys, you now have millions of people with readily available access. Now let's look at an environment where you have potholes, traffic congestion, munanofa, ambulance, satya. But with the advent of drones, it's now possible. And these guys are actually doing it, they are not talking about it. Overseas, you get guys like Domino's, Amazon, UPS, DHL, FedEx, everyone is having it a go at implementing drones. But here in Africa, Zipline is actually doing it. Now in industrial and commercial applications, so inspections are mandatory. We can't do without for operations and for maintenance, that's a given. So in rail industry, you've got tracks and overhead electric power lines. In the energy sector, you've got solar grids, transmission lines, pylons, and the like. That telecom tower that you saw in the video, that's actually Lionhead here in Zimbabwe, and we shot that by drone. You've got EMA involved in the inspection of dams and rivers. You've got industrial chimneys, your stakes. No one can get up there. If they want to, you've got physical and chemical hazards. But now you can actually send a drone out there to do the physical inspection and to actually do the same thing. So with drones, they are safe, efficient, and cost-effective, without a doubt. So energy sector, we spoke about power lines, solar panels and wind farms, building roof inspections. Same thing with building roof inspections, you've got challenges of working at heights, you've got fragile roofs, particularly our industrial buildings that are largely asbestos roof, the old ones. So someone is standing up there, they can fall through. You've got access challenges that come with building roof inspection. Again, that is done from above. Housekeeping, you can actually monitor from above the housekeeping, how we're performing. You know, it's common practice for us to go into the field and do a walk around and see how we are for housekeeping and compliance. Now you can do that from above and more regularly. Wildlife and habitat protection, you know, rangers and communities. You know, there's a lot of poaching that takes place. You know, we heard about the elephants that were poisoned by cyanide previously. And rangers are constantly at threat because they don't know what to expect. But whereas now you can provide monitoring with a drone, and then you have a tactical or strategic approach in how you respond to poachers. Emergency situations, we had Cyclone Idai not too long ago. And first responders, they get into the field without knowing what to expect. And once they're in there, you know, it's a very tough environment. But again, instead of sending in first responders as people, you send in drones. They have a look, they take videos, they take still images, we identify survivors, and from there, we can actually strategize how we respond. But beyond that, we can actually do food drops, medicines, any other kits that are required, or information pamphlets. Now, drones are very good, but they can also be very bad. That's in Saudi Arabia this month, last month, September. Oil refinery was attacked by a drone. Now, the obvious response is to send in another drone to see what the damage is. You rectify that. That's the irony of it. From a security perspective, It's very common here with security guards allowing sensors to respond. But at events, we also have crowds that gather as well as traffic congestion. Now, with monitoring from above, you can actually, again, strategize and identify hazards before they escalate into something more serious. That's drone footage from Hong Kong, with the Hong Kong protests that have been going on. And that's a lot of people we have to manage. So environmental, there is polluting and dumping. We mentioned the industrial chimneys that are there. Again, EMA can actually gather evidence of polluters and illegal dumping. They can do sampling from above in the industrial states. And in general, inspection of dams, rivers, and wildlife habitat. So there are challenges with implementing drones that come. But like anything else, organizations, before they implement, and there's a lot of drones now in the country, and unfortunately our regulators have to play catch up. But in anything, we have to do our management of change processes. Equipment requires inspection and maintenance, without a doubt. Drones require operating licenses, but we also need to look at the skills and the training required. Whoever is going to pilot the drone must be familiar with the task that is at hand. Drones require regular inspections, and we've touched on that. So there's associated risks with the drones themselves. So there's loss of control. Some drones are autonomous, some are semi-autonomous. But that communication between your phone or iPad and the drone, if you lose that, you basically got a roving flying object in the air. Now, it can run out of battery. It can fall from the sky. If you look from the drops calculator, 2-3 kgs can actually kill someone. And these drones can go so high as 500 meters in the sky and 8 kilometers away. So again, one of the challenges that comes in is things like line of sight. The real power of these drones is not being able to be watched by someone, but it introduces its own hazards. Birds of prey like to attack drones as well. Drones also have components, so they have rotors and blades that can make pinch points. So if you're not careful, you'll get cut. And then there's overruns and undershooting during landing that we also need to consider. Those are just some of the hazards that come with implementing drones. As mentioned, the real power of drones is in the fact that they are autonomous and semi-autonomous. You set your flight path and away it goes, and it will come back home on its own. So real benefits are speed in which information is gathered, the speed in which the data is processed, and the speed in which the data is transmitted. The level of detail that is captured by drones is second to none. And ultimately, that availability of data to decision makers becomes critical. Now, combined with other technologies, robotics, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, Internet of Things, current technologies such as RFID tags and proximity switches, we find in good time we can actually take a proactive approach to having a greater impact to safety and health. And that sums up for me. Drones for work, drones for safety. Thank you very much. So just before I head off, in front of you, we've put flyers for working at heights. We presented at the Engineers Conference, and we've been conducting courses for almost a year now. We are running a blitz. One of